Yes, yes. Hello, hello. I just had to turn off the Tchaikovsky for a second. Oh, my goodness, all the wreckage. Yes, I am psychiatrist here at COVID Kitchen, new hire. Um, I'm a graduate of Magnitogorsk Community College, and my practice is in the Urals, Irkutsk, Yakutsk, Kamchatka, many places Americans have never heard of. And the robot is stuck. Yeah, anyhow, there's many places you have never heard of. And any of my colleagues, give me just a couple of minutes. Chef will be out in a second. I just want to say a few things first. We were up late drinking one night, talking professionally as colleagues about a show we had seen in America during coronavirus, about this fascinating case of this star of this show called Golden Kitchen Chef, and man, who I hasten to add is a man of extremely good looks, very, very handsome, debonair quality, quite unusual in these modern times. Anyhow, so I traveled here to America to study and try to develop my professional practice and to research this because he was obviously a very disturbed man as well. And I thought it would be a fascinating study for myself to come and try to understand what was wrong. And so I understand here in the United States you have this custom of doctor-client confidentiality that I don't really respect at all, especially because he's paying me like shit. I came here and he had fired everybody else, and so I thought there would be plenty of money, but not really. Anyhow, so as far as Dr. Client confidentiality is concerned, I don't really care. I have numerous concerns about Chef. I have to do this quickly until he comes back. But first, I'm going to take a swig from Mother Russia. I miss my home so much. With some Slivovich, uh, right here. This is a plum brandy. It's a classic of the Slavs. Sure, I could drink it right out of the uh, bottle, but that's not how we do things in Mother Russia. So, Nostrovia. This is one of the first problems. He has, that I knew something was wrong with him. He's using Czech Slivovich. The Czechs are like the mongrels of the Slavs. These are not real Slavs. They're mixed with Germans and Austrians and probably the French. And why not get a Slivovich that a Croatian made, or certainly a Pole, or how about Slovakia or Serbia? No, but instead it's Czech. So I knew something was wrong with him right from the start. And then there's this bizarre obsession with these robots from China, these rescue robots. He won't really talk about it. Occasionally, he makes some obscure reference to who I think his mule was for smuggling them out of China, someone who calls himself Amazon. This was a second very disturbing sign to me. And Amazon, what a stupid name for an operation involving the Chinese. Right, we have several great rivers in Asia, the Ob, the Lena, the Yenisei. The Amazon is this brown, muddy stink hole in the middle of nowhere. Some dirty brown river, rotting and steaming full of diseases, vist, and coronavirus, COVID-19. Give me great Siberian river any day, cold and pure. And the all-around lack of sanitation in this house is very difficult to reconcile with the cleaning robots. What's up with that? Yeah. And then the back and forth on the show cancellation. And he's like some kind of perfectionist. I mean, who's fooled by that? Only a fool would take a kopeck for that belief. No, he's a very strange man. We got many strange arguments. What's the best version of Jack Straw and other musical performances I've never heard of? Yeah, it's ridiculous. What is a smallmouth bass? Why not sturgeon? No rational explanation. It's not possible. No, man must be watched and verified, but not trust and verified. There is no trust. Well, I'd better go refill the bottle and see where he is. He was ranting and raving something earlier about some brilliant new idea he has, something great new food that he has invented himself. He's delusional. Great show. Has he not seen any of the last several episodes of COVID Kitchen? He's delusional, all right. Yeah, well, I've probably divulged enough confidential information for one cooking show, so let me go see where he is. But I need to refill the bottle first with some water. Vodka, as we say. Here, you can watch Thirsty. He will be out in only a couple of minutes. Thirsty, you are a cute robot for it. Escape Chinese, whatever you are. Where are you? I'm not crawling under that table. That table is disgusting. Hi, everybody. I'm Chef from COVID Kitchen. Give me a second here to. All right. Sorry you had to endure psychiatrist here. Aside from sous chef, he's the only staff I got left. And he's kind of a nut. The guy thinks that all classical music was actually composed by Tchaikovsky. Anyway, appreciate you joining me tonight. I'm really glad you did. Or for, as I've discovered, far more people wind up finding my programming times to be annoying, and so are watching it later. No matter, you can enjoy COVID Kitchen whenever you want. Whether this is the last episode or one of thousands to come, we'll see. So, um, I'm really glad you've joined us because I have a very special meal tonight that I think encapsulates a lot of really great things here and abroad. Sorry, my glasses are still nasty. And I'm going to have to fix this for Thirsty because this is otherwise going to drive me nuts. All right, I think I got that fixed. So, somebody's got a problem with the fact that I'm barefoot in my own house. Whatever. So, I understand there's this concern about hygiene in my own house. Because remember, it's my terms. That's the only ones here. I mean, there could be coronavirus here. There's coronavirus. No, there's not coronavirus. Oh, maybe there is coronavirus. Nope. Nope. No. Oh. I know you all want to see more of that, and that's ridiculous. A lot of reasons. So the upshot of it is we have a very special meal for you tonight. I'm going to focus a lot more on the cooking here for once. I realize I've delivered a lot of bad shows in a row for you, perhaps all of them, one could argue, but that's no matter. We're going to have a little fun here tonight with something really cool. I'm so excited that we're having another episode just to do this. So, a little explanation. Hang on one second, because somebody wants to get a hold of me. There's Steve. Anyway, so I wanted to make something tonight that would illustrate several useful concepts to you in the original COVID Kitchen Quest of Survival, while also, being something new and different for you to think about in your own cooking. Or perhaps to use certain things that you've already got stashed away. We may not get locked down for much longer, and you're like, what am I going to do with all this crap in my Lazy Susan that I'll never use? We're here to help for just that problem. Now, I was thinking tonight I would have some pork product of some kind. I mean, why not? Oh, I have to betray one other thing. First, I actually went shopping. I went shopping, COVID Kitchen. I went to the grocery store and I got, not to the Safeway over here, but to another store much cleaner nearby. I got 2 bags of food. Believe it or not, I have no tonic. I actually got no liquids at all. I didn't get any meats. I got plenty of meats. I don't have plenty of tonic. But I was mainly going to get fruits and vegetables. That was really getting irritating. And, of course, some eggs. So anyway, some of those will be used here tonight. Not the eggs. Those are too precious. But the other stuff. And so I have betrayed the audience. But see, I thought the show was off the air. So I'm like, forget it. I'll just go shopping. We're not doing that. Anyhow, I saw plenty of meat in the meat market. It's not, I didn't really see what the problem was, but you guys know better than I do, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to make something that's meat. I hope you have pork. You probably have various types of ham in your house still. Ham is a meat that doesn't go frail very quickly. So I was thinking, let me make something. So what do I have? All right. I'm going to leave it up to our viewing audience of what, like 6 people? So we got 9 people. So I want to know which you would rather use. Would you rather use Spam or would you prefer ham? And we're just getting started here, folks. I just want an introductory. You've got a choice between the two. What's your call? And I remove the words on the screen. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Can I remove the words on the screen? Of course not. Let's see. Hold on. Where are they? Oh, bless it. Where are they? I've got all those little tests. So for those of you who tuned in early and saw the fabulous gradual slideshow. Oh, there we go. All right. It should be better. Sorry about that. Now you can see everything in its full video 4K glory. Look at this. Now that you can see, I'll put it right where the message lettering was. Spam or ham? What's your call here? Spam. Good call. Who made that call? Hold on a second. I can't quite see the chat block here. The many features of this tiny laptop. All right, Chris. Good call. I like it. So and any of the other 9 people tuned in want to chime in, I'll give you a second here, and then I'm going to go on to the much bigger answer. No? All right, fine. It's okay. I was going to do what I wanted anyway. So, and this is part of what I think is going to be a very historic moment for the world. This has never been done before. I'm sure of it. I'm going to explain more of this while I'm cooking this. And this is something that you are fortunate to be able to see. I can't even believe I thought of it. It will only have happened because of coronavirus. So, sure, I could choose spam. I could choose ham. You know, the ham out of the package. Those are perfectly delicious choices. However, there is a third choice. Spam, of course, is a good thing to have on hand. It's canned, it'll last forever. It was good enough for all the World War II troops that basically won World War II. Nikita Khrushchev himself said that the Soviet Union would not have won without spam. That's a true story. I'm not making that up. But we have a third choice, another excellent choice for those of you who are sheltered in place for long periods of time and need meat to eat. Oh, especially if these meat shortages are supposedly real. Fine, no problem. I have the answer for you. Why not instead simply have a jamón ibérico de bellota? It's much better than spam, right? This is not what's historic. This is not what's historic, but in order for you to understand what's about to be historic, I want to preface this for you. Hopefully you can see that. This is an authentic from Spain. Shut up, Thirsty. This is an authentic from Spain. Jamón bellota. Excuse me. Jamón ibérico de bellota. What that means is they're Iberico pigs, 100% Iberico in this case, who have only been fed acorns in the ender part of their lives, and so it has an extraordinary flavor. If you haven't gone to Spain yet, well, we've all made mistakes. You should go. If you don't want to go to Spain, you can order them, but they're very expensive. A lot more expensive than spam. Spam. Actually, I've never purchased any spam for myself in my life. My brother has given me several cans of spam over the years for various reasons, ranging from wanting to weigh down my insurance, my luggage as a joke when I fly home, or it's Christmas gifts. You know, so I've accumulated some spam. I've only actually made one can of spam in my entire life, but I have several, including this one. And here's where this counts. Tonight, we are going to make, for the first time in human history, a dish including both the jamón ibérico de bellota and spam. And there are very important historical overlaps between these two that we're going to explore while the cooking is going. I'm glad you joined us tonight. By the way, the jamón is $53 a pound. It's with the bones. And anyway, here, if you've never had this before, and I'll talk about this more when there's a little more downtime. I want to get this started. Actually, I probably should there. You're going to learn something here if you've tried it. If you have, you already know what I'm talking about, so I don't need to explain it to you. Again, now you're just depressed that you tuned in. There's probably like 2 viewers left because half of you probably have been to Spain and you're like, screw you, I'm not watching you eat that stuff. This is the real deal, folks. I've only eaten like 4 slices, so you'll see that I don't really quite know how to slice it properly yet, but I'm getting there. Oh, speaking of getting there, I took the unusual precaution of not having anything to drink before tonight's show, so I'm now going to have a glass of wine. And as you could probably imagine, tonight's wine will be a Rioja from the north central part of Spain. This would be a Diosares Crianza 2015 for those of you who are collectors at home. I don't know if you can see that or not. Crianza 2015 from our favorite place of Rioja, which years ago a friend of mine and I had a great afternoon at a wine festival. I'm thinking I'm only going to have one glass, so what difference does it make, right? I'm just going to have, maybe not, I'll have like a half glass. It's like nothing. This is just basically a small little thirst quencher, just to get my whistle wet. Right. That's more than a half glass. That's probably enough. God, that's heavy. Anyhow, so, or a psychiatrist says, Nostrovia, when he's listening to Beethoven and he thinks it's Tchaikovsky. Oh, to make tonight's meal, first I need to turn the oven on up to, it's on a little bit, but I got to turn it up to 350. Oh, by the way, needless to say, I've never made this before. And I've only made Spam once before, and Spam is actually the heart of the dish. While this may be the soul and the electricity, the meat of the roast, if you will be Spam. And I've only fried Spam in slices before. I've never actually done what I'm going to do here, but we'll do our best. And there are a couple of juicy side dishes, including many of the peas out of COVID Kitchen Farms, which I'll talk about later, and other things. All right. Let's get started. One second. All right. Oh, I wanted to show you the. I guess before I launch into too much, I got to show you one thing about this hamon here. Come on. Oh, I want to show you the pigs. Look at the pigs. So these are uh, the Iberian black pigs. They have black hooves when they're alive, at least, and they're here. They are freely frolicking around in the Spanish countryside, munching on acorns. This is basically the secret here. So they're very wonderful, and we here at COVID Kitchen are very grateful to have some in our house, even if they come from the one of the most infectious coronavirus laden uh, countries in the world. Wow, that thing's probably full of coronavirus. Look, there's one right there. No, I'm not going to do that, and I'm not going to wear shoes in my own kitchen either. All right, now, so Spam is the first thing we must get going here. Um, so I thought I'd bring out my trusty roasting pan here, and I'm going to set it to Spam, which I don't know what that is yet because I haven't opened this. I can't believe I'm making this. Mmm, look at that. You don't see that every day. You might see that every day if you're lucky, but you'll never see that every day. Unless, of course, you were in World War II for various Allied armies. Invented by Hormel in 1937, I believe in Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken. There's a museum of Spam. All right. So we must set this to Spam. So it's going to need to be, somehow fitting into that. So I think I need to make it a little more narrow. You can take notes on this for when you're making Spam in your house. And you can adjust accordingly if you feel my recommendation is inferior. Hang on, I need to move this massive thing out of the way here. Well, it doesn't just slide out like I thought it would. Spam is basically a combination of pork shoulder and ham, and it slides right out. There we go. All right, beautiful. Oops, I don't want to miss any pieces of that. That's good. Here, I'll wash my hands here for the sake of the audience before I touch the Spam. This is a Spam that probably is about a vintage 2011, I'm guessing, based on when my brother was giving me. I think this is a 2011. It might be a 2008, but I think it's a 2011. So you may need to adjust your ingredients accordingly. Now we're gonna, of course, I don't want to overspice this at all. because of, Hamon iberico di peyote. But we do want to have a little bit of spice associated with it. So I'm just going to put a little salt and pepper on it. Mm-hmm. See how it tastes to this fresh ground pepper. Then our third ingredient, based on how I see this now, I am going to soup this up a little bit. I was debating between ground cloves and cloves, whole ones, because I wasn't really sure. I hadn't opened one of these up in a while, so I'm going to go ahead and poke some holes in the Spam. Score it up a little bit to stick some cloves into. Not many, just a few. I don't really know that you need to. I don't know that they did this during World War II. I think you could probably get away with just literally putting the cloves in there. It's pretty soft. At least this vintage was. I don't know if the later 2015s and so are quite as sensitive. There you go. See, that's really helping your Spam out. Let's put one in the side here, and then flip it over and do the same thing. Yeah, that's too much. We don't want that much. All right, there we go. Perfect. Just like I've always made it. Okay, so for now, our Spam is ready to go. I think I've got it, spiced up appropriately. We have it properly wedged in the roasting device, and now we're going to just throw it in the oven at 350. There you go. All there is to it. So you can do that at home. All right, let me see if there's any major questions so far. I'll be right back when I check the chat. Oh, Chris. Yeah. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start to prepare a a cognac glaze that we're going to basically based on the Spam as it gets a little more well roasted up in the oven. So do that. Move my lights over so that you can hear me because I realize that it's COVID kitchen quality here. All right. Hopefully you can still hear me. And let's go ahead and use which one? Neither one actually. You know what I'll use. So just get a pan. What's the matter, Thirsty? That robot. What? Oh, the power cord? Sorry about that. I keep Thirsty on the run, Never know who's looking for him. Okay, so this isn't really that complicated. You can mix and match this recipe up a little bit. It's not really that particular. We just want to make a glaze that we can put on. And you can do this with hams, by the way, and other pork products. So if you're roasting them in the oven, and the same thing will work. We're going to want about a third of a cup. That should be plenty because the Spam isn't that big. Maybe a little bit more. I want to reduce that down for a minute. Put some brown sugar. And yeah, still need a little more, unfortunately, because it's all going to dissolve or evaporate away in a second here if I don't. Disadvantage of using a flat roasting pan instead of a narrow one. Boy, that smells good. You know, since I'm here, the psychiatrist doesn't see this. Christian Brothers. Ugh, it's better for cooking. All right. A little bit of brown sugar in. And you can measure this, but I don't. I do it the eyesight, basically. It's not that complicated. We're going for the final consistency of the sauce, not the individual ingredients, which I'm not going to go too hog wire on. Let's see. And throw in a little bit of honey. Again, not a lot. Maybe, okay. So if you were putting a third of a cup in, maybe about a tablespoon. Or whatever spoon you have handy. That's fine too. Stir that puppy up. Nice and thick. I'm just going to let that simmer down for a few minutes. There you go. It's getting tasty. All right. So now that we've got that, that's going to basically just cook down for a little bit. I probably better turn it down. Ah, yes, of course. Well, let's see. So before our next step, I want to explain something about why tonight is such a historically important night and why I'm so sure that this has never been created before. There are actually several reasons, of course, but it's useful for a little history lesson here for a moment while we let that simmer down, which I will keep an eye on and I'll take you over to watch. Spam is cooking away. We're going to cook it for another 20-ish minutes or so. The glaze is going to cook down a little bit. What's going to happen is, when the roast is a little drier, we're going to start glazing that regularly. And then later is when the jamon is going to come in. Now, why would you use something like jamon on Spam? Well, because it's COVID Kitchen is the first answer, and probably the only answer, really. However, it's interesting to reflect upon this. So, jamon iberico de bellota is a recipe that's more than 3,000 years old. A recipe of food, I should say. This is basically a pig from the primarily southern and central regions in Spain. There are specific breeds. They very carefully control the breeds, and they are led to wildly range. And the ones that are the bellotas are able to snack the end of their lives away on acorns. The other ones are perfectly delicious too. There's also a Serrano ham, but it has much lower fat levels. The Ibericos have a higher fat, but it's not a bad fat. It's monounsaturated or whatever that is. It's some kind of oil. It's more like olive oil fat than it is, whatever you get at Jim Boy's Tacos or in a lot of the other processed food. So it's considered a healthy fat, and it's regardless of that, that's not why I eat it. The reason I eat it is because it's absolutely freaking delicious. It actually has a little taste of that nutty acorn taste is in the flavor. I mean, it's just it's extraordinary. When we went to Spain many years ago, that was one of the treats is frequently eating that. Uh, and this particular one, it's got a lot of fat in it. It'll actually melt in your mouth. It's delicious. It's really really extraordinary. You should go to Spain for no other reason. You could just go there to try that, and you've pretty much uh, made a good call. There's obviously a lot of other good things about Spain. For example, the wine from Rioja. This is very good. This is way above average. Very, very good. It's definitely not like obnoxiously fruity at all. It's very, very tasty. What I should really do. This is one of the great things if you have one of these in your house. It's like, oh, I feel like I want a piece of this. That is so delicious. It's not even funny. It's expensive as hell, but boy, is that good. That being said, it cost me more money than the last round trip ticket I bought to Europe. Anyway, the uh, it is quite wonderful. So this has been around for a long time. Spam, by contrast, I mentioned had been invented in 1937. And one of the things that's interesting here is that, here's jamon iberico de bellota side by side and now being combined into a dish with spam. You realize that this, you could say, well, why for thousands of years didn't people do this? Of course, obviously, spam wasn't around for, the first 99.99% of that time. However, how about in World War II? You're flying along towards Nazi Germany in your plane, you break out your can of spam. Why not just throw a piece of the jamon on there, right? Well, of course, it didn't work that way. This is a very expensive. It takes 3 years to cure this. It wasn't available, and probably the Spanish themselves probably didn't have it because they had just come out of a Spanish Civil War that was very brutal, and who knows what even they were eating. But it's kind of interesting to consider that at the same time, side by side, we had the Spanish who were neutral in World War II, alongside all these Allied armies eating all this spam, and the two never, really met culinarily. Maybe not politically either or militarily, but certainly not with respect to this. Furthermore, I don't think anybody in their right mind would ordinarily want to mix a highly expensive uh, ham product, one that's been crafted with great care and is extraordinarily delicious, with a can of spam. Now, I understand your objections, your moral offense. That's fine. I'm used to that. The take home here is I'm only going to use a little bit of the jamon. And I'm going to use it in the sense that a prosciutto is used. Or, you could think of it as bacon if you want, but you can, with a very small amount of prosciutto, radically improve the flavor of many things. So I want to see here if using this will radically improve the taste of spam. Thirsty, you're really getting on my nerves here. So, that thirsty. So, the upshot of it is this is an experiment. It's a very small experiment, and that's part of what we do here at COVID Kitchen. We're in a house. We're trapped. We can't leave, right? If we leave, who knows what'll happen? So we order a pig from the coronavirus death capital of the world and assume it's okay because I'm sure it is. I just ate a piece. Well, it's too late now. So, that's what we're doing. Making history. here at the COVID Kitchen. Thanks for subscribing. Oh, wow, there's actually people still watching. That's funny. You never know. Although I've learned that most of the people watch the show later, which I don't really understand why that is, but that's okay. You can enjoy COVID Kitchen in the years to come on YouTube. All right. So I should probably pay a little bit of attention to our food here before I ruin it and decide simply to throw it all away and just, eat the hamon. That's coming along pretty good. Oh, look at that spam. Smells wonderful. All right. I'm going to start up on the next item. I'm making three things tonight. A little vegetable thing with the fresh peas from my garden, which I'll get to later. That's pretty quick. But we're also making some risotto. Now, if I was really going to test your patience tonight, I would make polenta. It's a better match with what I'm eating here. But, you're already getting ready to turn this off anyway. So instead, it's not even like full from scratch risotto. It's boxed risotto. Now I will do a couple of little things to make it a little spicier, but this is just going to be quick. It's just a boxed risotto. It's nothing fancy. So to add a little authenticity to the experience, we're going to do two things aside from use the box of risotto, which I'll go ahead and warm it up. One thing we're going to do is use a little oil and just fry the rice for a second. Not long. Hang on, I'll turn the camera. This lard is going to come in handy later, I promise. Yes, I threw that in too soon, but it won't matter. It won't hurt it. What we're going to be using is ham base I made. I made a ham a few months ago, so I'm a big fan of making stock. And I have stocks, homemade stocks made from pretty much every meat. I've got pork, chicken. I made a chicken just a couple days ago, beef. I got them all. Now, you want to talk about homemade stock? Can't wait for that. All right. The bones in that puppy are going to be phenomenal. This is a little more pedestrian, but we're going to use this instead of just straight water. To enliven things a little bit. So, question: how much should I use? How delicious am I feeling? Oh, I'm feeling pretty delicious. Yeah, let's just put the whole thing. All right, why not? Yeah, plenty of stock. All right, and then one other little touch to make this otherwise boring boxed risotto a little more interesting. So I'm going to throw a couple of sprigs of actual Spanish. Well, that glaze is getting good. Actual Spanish saffron. Wow, is that the last of it? Ugh, that's, oh well. I actually have more. But it's just a different variety. All right. Making boxed risotto otherwise takes no talent whatsoever. That's why I'm making it. Actually, making while I'm stirring this. Here, something exciting. It's your actual cooking show if you want to see how to make boxed risotto.
But making risotto from scratch, using arborio rice and doing it, and, it's fun and it's actually very easy to do. Just pick up a lot of parm and some butter and some cream, and you're going to be golden. Arborio is not the only rice you can use for risotto. The risotto rices vary in their length and their starch content, and depending what you're trying to do, if it's got a higher starch content, it'll hold the sauce better. If it has lower starch content, obviously it won't. And so they vary by region of Italy, whether you're northern or southern Italy. So it depends really what you're trying to do. You don't have to just buy arborio. But anyway, don't just buy Uncle Ben's either. Uh, there are a handful of Italian rices that are generally preferred to make risotto, but you can make risotto from scratch. It just takes longer, and the attention spans are getting pretty short here on the COVID kitchen. Me and psychiatrist had a long talk about that. He's got a great attention span, if nothing else. Well, they're from Russia. They sit up for like 12 hours at night, drinking vodka, arguing with each other. And we can't do that for like 30 seconds, right? So maybe we have some things to learn. All right. So that's starting to get a teeny little bit brown. So I'm going to go ahead and add the secret spice mix. Whoa. Only you, I, and all the employees of the Lundberg Family Farms Co. I don't actually know who owns that. Oh, they're in Richville, California. I'm sure it's a small local family farm. Are aware of the secret recipe. Unfortunately, I'm prohibited from divulging all the secret spices. But it's probably basically dried Parmesan and organic white arborio rice, sea salt, organic cheddar cheese, organic cream, organic yeast extract, organic sugar, organic rice concentrate, organic natural butter flavor, organic garlic powder. Oh, this is getting ridiculous. Disodium phosphate. Anyway, there's a lot of organic stuff in it, right? So I'm impressed. I'm throwing the box away. All right. Uh-oh. Stream get interrupted? Nope. Good. Just my shitty computer. All right, so once I put that in, I can go ahead and pour in my saffron-laden ham base. Oh yeah, baby. The sizzle means it's going to be delicious. And I'll probably need to turn that down, and we're just going to simmer that for, about 25 minutes. Oh yeah. Takes no skill whatsoever. Unlike spam. All right. Our glaze is getting to be a little bit like glaze, so I'm going to turn it all the way down to minimum at this point. Our spam supposedly has 10 minutes left, so now we have the fun part. All right. Anything involving Amon Iberico de Bellota. It's fun. If you have one of these at your kitchen. Yes, it's very expensive, but So here's my plan. Of course, I've never made this before, so I have no real idea of what I'm doing, obviously. My plan is basically to use it in a prosciutto-like way, but I don't even want it to fully dissolve like you would do with a prosciutto, because when you put this stuff in your mouth, even as is, it practically melts in your mouth. So my plan is I'm literally going to be glazing that starting in a few minutes, let that roast a little longer, and then at the very end, like in the last 2 minutes, I'm going to put just a couple of pieces of this stuff on the top of it. Yeah, I'm not going to go hog wild. Ah, that was pretty clever, hog wild. Yeah, sorry. On putting lots of this stuff on there, that would be totally stupid, right? I'm not going to spend like $100 doctoring spam up. I'm going to get just a couple little pieces, and I might eat one for myself. We'll see. Nobody knows what's going to happen here at COVID Kitchen, do they? And for this kind of an operation, we need to use some very precise holders. So I'm going to use these tweezers. much harder since I'm right-handed to actually slice with my left hand. It's much easier to do when I'm not doing a cooking show. Oh, that's okay. There's no way I'm not observing the 3-second rule on this. That is the tastiest food scavenge I've ever eaten in my life. Ah, I almost want to do that again on purpose. Stay away, Thirsty. I'm gonna have to watch out for Thirsty scavenging this stuff off the floor. It's much easier to do it in another location, but that's okay. That's okay. Oh, there we go. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. True ham masters are called habaneros, and I'm not there yet, obviously. I'm getting a little better at operating this stuff. That's one of the many perks of owning your own jamon iberico de bellota. I'm not there yet. And my knife isn't sharp. I actually ordered a knife sharpener in the mail because I realized how irritating this is going to be with a dull knife. Where do you go? I may use this one. Why in America do we not have these things? It's such a unique taste. I wish I could explain it. I mean, it has that nuttiness at the end, but it's more than that. It feels like it's this thing that's melting in your mouth. It's incredible. I'm sure the Spam will be a good medium for it. Just want one more piece through for the meal. And one other piece. All right, perfect. Now we're ready. I'll save the rest of that for later. There's an actually interesting way to. You have to store this involving the fat that I cut off, but I'm not going to bore you with that. I'm not even sure if anybody's still watching. Let's see. Okay. So part of the deal I'm going to make, I realize here on COVID Kitchen, we haven't always shown the final product. I will show the final product. So we have our little pile of jamon iberico de bellota pieces, and I'm basically going to drape, except for that one right now. Okay. God, it's ridiculous. I just don't understand why we can't eat these things here. Imagine how great our country would be instead of eating all the McDonald's burgers we're eating, and we eat this stuff. Oh well, too late now. All right. So I think the glaze is about ready. Our risotto is moving along. That's okay. That's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and give the first glaze onto the Spam roast. Kind of feels funny. It doesn't really roll off the tongue. Oh, look at that. That looks great. I mean, for Spam, it's cold and brown. It looks actually pretty tasty. I didn't know it's better. I'd say that's delicious. All right. Look at that. Ow. Mm, it's actually tasty. Wow. This might be better than I thought. Wow. I'm going to have to order a lot more of these Mon Iberico de Bellotas. Yeah, but maybe that will ruin this. I don't know. Let's see. Actually, it's not that bad. Mildly surprised. All right. So the last thing we're going to have to do here is oh, that is delicious. The last thing we're going to have to do here is basically prepare the vegetables. And the theme of tonight's vegetable dish is primarily centered around the peas out of the Kovic Kitchen Farms, which are doing quite well now. They're coming in like mad, and they're pretty tasty. I mean, you can eat them straight. They're good. So this is not going to be complicated. I'm going to melt some butter, and I'm going to fry up briefly some shallots and some red peppers, some diced red peppers, and then these things are just gonna cook for like 2 minutes. They're not gonna cook very long at all. I'm not gonna do that just yet. So, get that guy off. So my other goal is to baste that a couple more times. That spam roast still doesn't just fall off your tongue. Like, oh yeah, my spam roast. Anyway, what do I want to do next? I guess I'll get the shallots and peppers ready. You know, these guys, these are the greatest. And you know, one of the nice things about the shallots is I bought these shallots long before the lockdown started. These things last for a long time. Really a useful way of surviving the end times like this. And should be enough. Off camera, of course, I'm washing the red pepper. This is one of the fruits of the grocery store trip, so I'm really excited about this. I haven't actually eaten any red pepper in like 7 weeks. I don't need the whole thing. I'm just going to do a little bit of it. And because I'm feeling lazy, I'm going to do it in the and because I need to show off as many gadgets as I can here on Kovic Kitchen. Throw this in here. Oh yeah, that was satisfying. And before you put these in the refrigerator, I hope you're not really doing stuff like that. I hear of weird things like that. I mean, I do put disinfectants in my mouth every morning. It's called hydrogen peroxide. Tens of millions of people do it for a reason. Your dentist recommends. But don't drink it. Spit it out. So, where are we? Let's do another glaze based, whatever you want to call it. Give me 1 second here. Oh man, it's starting to look good. Woo. First of all, just to see where we're at in the cooking process with Spam, because it's very important. You know, our World War II sailors, I'm sure, did this before they consumed their Spam every time. They started up and they fired up their digital thermometers, and they said, "Oh, oh wait a minute, what? Don't tell me my digital thermometer's down." There we go. It's just reflecting a donor. It's not a big deal. All right. Oh yeah. Depending on how you like your Spam, 160. All right. I tend to think that Spam is at its most succulent. What I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and baste it one more time, and then we'll pull it out. In the interest of time, and because it's probably pretty close to done. Not really most pork products when they get around 160, but you know, there's a lot of gelatin in Spam, and I would imagine it's going to start to fall apart. So I don't want to overcook it. You know, us true Spam master chefs, we refuse to eat overcooked Spam. This is when it's at its juiciest. It's got the most complex flavors. It actually smells really good. And I don't want to drop it from that. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to let this cook for another, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. And then I'm going to put the jamon iberico de bellota on it. And then it's going to be short. I'm going to pull it out and we're going to let it rest so that the juices inside of the Spam all remix. And the mixture of pork shoulder and ham have an opportunity to recombine while the jamon iberico de bellota juices flow into the heart of the Spam. And that's what we're really after here. So we'll see what happens. In the meantime, risotto's coming along. There's no problem. I mean, it's risotto. It's not that hard. And then I'm going to do the vegetables in the last minute. There was one other thing I wanted to do. Oh yeah, Spam. So does anybody on the? Let's see. First of all, is there anybody on the? Oh yeah, there's still 11 people. Anybody still watching Spam stock? The thing have an opinion about what Spam stands for, or where the name came from, I should say more broadly. I'll be over at the screen for just a second because I want to. All right, well, just 1 minute of enjoying thirsty. Isn't thirsty wonderful? Yes, I know. when I first received Walter in the mail, I was a little disappointed when I realized that Walter can't clean. And then there was a series of arguments with, let's just call the mule Amazon. And eventually, for free, Thirsty came to me, and I couldn't be more delighted. Thirsty, of course, now Thirsty stuck right at the same. But that's okay. That's part of the charm of Thirsty. Come on, turn right. Right. There you go. Sorry, I get emotional. So, but anyway, so now as a result of this, we actually have this whole family here together now during coronavirus. I don't know what's going to happen in the days to come here, but worst case scenario, we've got plenty of chili left. All right, I think we're about ready for the next phase in our cooking experience here. I don't know what's going on here. It's weird. Power died. It's the second time that's happened to the stove. Anyway, we'll be fine. So I'm going to put one last glaze on the pork, and I'm also going to jack the temperature up quickly, 400, while I do this, because this is going to be a short thing. The moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen, when Spam meets Jamón Ibérico de Bellota. Coming very soon. First time in human history. Think about it. Think of all the great moments when Marco Polo went to China, Magellan went around the Horn, Steely Dan got back together. These moments when there were these meetings of peoples who'd been separated probably forever. And we're at one of those moments right now. Right now, COVID Kitchen subscribers. This is a moment in history. Watch closely. But if you miss it and you got to go to the bathroom, you can always watch this later on YouTube. Oh, you didn't get to see that, did you? Do it. Nobody saw that except for me. There it is. COVID Kitchen. All right. Awe-inspiring. It's like the fall of the Berlin Wall or something. All right, let's try it out. Now, when Julius Caesar crossed the Rubicon, never mind. Thirsty. Can you please stop misbehaving? Robots. This is so much easier to deal with than coronavirus. When the robots take over, it'll be fine. in the short time I've got left here with you, thank you for your patience. I'm going to make the vegetables, and they shouldn't take very long. Oh, boy, I did say I needed to keep a close eye on this, and I do. Hold on, I'm trying to illuminate you on this, although I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. So the jamon beyota, jamon iberico de beyota, is melting away. See it? I'm going to pull it off in about 5 seconds. Wow, unbelievable. Perfect. It's just what I envisioned. That never happens. Trust me. Oh, oh, that looks so good. All right. Now we're going to let it rest. Magic moments, people. Magic moments. All right. Last thing is the Kitchen Farms peas and shallots and the red pepper. Let's see. Let's do this. All right, so we have our lard going. You shouldn't be afraid of lard. In doses, I mean, you don't want to eat it all the time. In doses, it's absolutely wonderful. Known to man. Outside of possibly sports. I don't include those all the time. And so with this, we're not gonna put any spices. We're not gonna do anything to this. We're literally just gonna put the uh, peas and the shallots and the peppers in there, and it's just a piece of cake. While these are frying up, I'm going to add one last thing here before doing all the final work. No, two last things. One, it's nice to have a mold like this handy because now in the future, it's not like if you screw up the meal, it's like, well, I can order a pizza. Now instead, you can just basically take slices off the whole, so it's not too bad. good thing is this, I don't know. We may have, I said this before, but we may have one episode, we may have 100, we may have zero. I always appreciate at COVID Kitchen diehard fans. I did not advertise this very far tonight, kind of to see who would tune in and what the follow-up stats are like and all that stuff. So, but you're among the select group. And I appreciate you watching. If you are watching it later, I appreciate you watching as well. And I hope you learned something and or laughed at me a little bit or didn't. In which case, I don't know why you're watching. Thirsty's up to some crazy shit. All right, so turn that down. He's in. Oh yeah. Too hot. Oh, it smells delicious. Smells freaking delicious. All right. That doesn't take much. These fresh peas, they're pretty much just vehicles of flavor on their own. So now all I pretty much got to do is slice up the pork. Spam, whether it stands for short shoulder and pork shoulder and ham, or shoulder of pork and ham, or whether it's meant to describe basically a ham that didn't make it through basic training, or I'm sure lots of other juicy things that the World War II vets actually said about that stuff. I think this is going to be pretty delicious. It certainly smelled great. It looked great. It's got all the ingredients great. And here's one funny last thing, I guess. The whole reason for it was because Hormel felt like they weren't getting enough demand for pork shoulder. Now pork shoulder is in great demand. You go to a barbecue joint, look how much money they're charging for pulled pork, which is pork shoulder, and so the Hormel Corporation was way ahead of its time. We'll see what happens in the days to come, where we're going to have challenges in the meat packing industry and all those kinds of things. And we'll see, what happens. Uh-oh, Thirsty may be running out of juice. You got a gas, Thirsty? Come on. I love you too. All right. So, sorry, you have to see a family moment there. But, that happens a lot in this day and age. All right, so now the last thing is slicing pork shoulder. That will have to. Boy, that smells good. I can't believe I just said that. It's dead. What? I did. Look at that. Look at that. That's doing that. Okay, not quite the way I envisioned it falling apart, but that's okay. You just try eating one of these. Oh my god. Ridiculous. Oh, this part didn't work out too well, but that's okay. Push this on its own. Don't worry, I'll be right back. Risotto. Last but not least, see, that's what competition is all about. Surviving. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Good night.